What we're going to be talking about today is approach anxiety. Now, approach anxiety is something that I had a big issue with for a lot of years. I've now been approaching women cold for about 10 years now. I've done multiple sales jobs, I worked for multiple companies in this industry itself. I've also have had a lot of success with women. So what can I show you about approach anxiety? How can I fix this for you? Now, for me, it was an easy route. It took a lot of time, it took a lot of effort for me to figure this out myself. However, I've broken it down to the smallest, minute details and figured out some systems that made it easy for me to do. It made it easy for me to approach women. And in this video, that's exactly what I'm showing you. I'm gonna show you how to easily approach women here and now. Now, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow me. I hope you guys enjoy. Now, I did take some notes here, so I'm gonna be going down the line of my notes, and I'll be explaining to you guys exactly what it is that makes you afraid to approach women. Now, first and foremost, what is approach anxiety? Approach anxiety comes from a couple different factors. The first thing is social pressure. Now, we are made to be human sponges. We're made to work in a tribe. You're not made to be an island. So what are you doing? You're constantly looking into the environment around you, subconsciously drawing into what they are. You dress like your friends. You talk like your friends. You talk like the people around you. You are constantly absorbing the world and the tribe around you and becoming more and more like it. So first hack is obviously just surrounding yourself with people that approach. Now, if you're in a world where nobody approaches, which is the world we're in right now, you don't see anybody approaching. So through passively watching everybody else never talking to strangers, you yourself learn not to talk to strangers, and you think there's some kind of adverse reaction to doing it. You think there's something that's gonna happen that's gonna harm you if you go and approach, because your tribe doesn't do it, so there must be a reason that they don't approach. But there isn't. It's that we're in this huge tribe and people keep subconsciously telling themselves why they shouldn't approach. They backwards rationalize their actions, which takes me to the next point. Action feeds ego. Now, action is the things you do, the mentalities you take on. It's basically a circular function. So let's say you decide not to approach a girl. You rationalize not approaching a girl. So you see a girl, you're like, oh no, her friends are there. Her mother's standing right next to her. She could have a boyfriend. She looks like she's really busy. Oh no, she's on the phone. So what you do is you don't approach. So what your brain does is it justifies inaction. So let's say that you don't approach, and let's say you don't approach in a situation where the mom's there. You're like, oh, I don't want to be that guy that is going to intrude on her and her mother's time. Or maybe I don't want to approach while she looks kind of out of it. If I approach her while she's out of it, it could hurt my feelings, and I don't want to approach anybody else. So I'm not going to approach her. But now guess what? Because you didn't approach her, you just justified inaction, and now because you had inaction, a momentum of inaction, you're going to justify further inaction down the road. So you want to break that first one down. So first, when you go out, when you go into a new environment, you want to take action. You see a girl, you approach her. Now, with this as well, as you keep taking action, the ego is going to follow. So you want to keep the action consistent, because the more consistent it is, the more that your ego and your narrative is going to align. So the self-identity you have will align with the action itself. So if you approach consistently for a long time, eventually your ego aligns with this and action becomes fun to do, fun to approach. Now, a lot of this is biological. Again, it's tribal, and it's your brain trying to stay consistent with your actions. So if you're going like 20 years without approaching, of course it's going to be very difficult for you to approach at first. But as time goes on, as you grind it down, as you keep consistent with the action, your brain's going to start finding the reasoning for you taking the action. If you approach a girl, it's like, oh, I must be an extroverted fun guy. Oh, it must be not that big a deal to go talk to somebody. Oh, this is just a fucking adventure. If the girl's really cool and she recognizes how awesome I am, then we're going to have a fucking amazing time. So in this kind of way, now your brain's starting to get on your side. Now it becomes fun to approach, as opposed to a chore, or as opposed to work. This shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be taking willpower for your approach. You should be drawn to the action. It should be the dessert of the day. It should be the exact same thing as playing a video game. You know, you get excited when you get home and play a video game. It's the same exact thing. If you're going out to approach women, and you go out and you're like, oh fuck, here we go again, as opposed to being, man, this is so exciting to be out and about, guess what? You're gonna burn willpower doing this, as opposed to building willpower going out and approaching. You should be drawn to the action as opposed to be repelled from it. There's this thing that I always tell my clients when I do like a consultation or a boot camp, and it goes like this. You think that there's people out there that have an ability that you don't. So if I can approach, it must be because I'm built different. But what it is actually is that I have different mentalities, I have different mindsets that draw me to the action as opposed to repel me from the action. So you think it's hard to work 100 hours a week. No, for me it's fun. It's fun for my friends. It's fun for a lot of people that have big businesses. Working is fun. It's not arduous. If you think that work is arduous, that's why you can't work. It's not because you're built differently than anybody else. It's just that you have the wrong mindsets and mentalities. So in terms of approaching, you have the wrong mentalities. Somebody's opening a gate right behind me. All right, so in terms of this, you gotta think about that next 2.0 version of you. How does he think that draws him to the actions that you're afraid to take currently? Which actually takes me to the next point, field reports. Field reports are massive. So let's say you go out and you don't take action. You are afraid to approach, and so you go out for a night out to go talk to girls, and you don't do it at all. Well, instead of beating yourself up, which would make it more, again, arduous for you, you instead say, hey, look, I'm gonna take this as a learning lesson. What were the mindsets that I had that stopped me from approaching that the next version of myself wouldn't have, that would actually have him drawn to this? So I didn't wanna approach that girl because the mom was there. Guess what? Any mom in the right mind would love me. So it actually is a positive, because if I approach a girl and her mother loves me, why would she not want to talk to me again? If she's around a bunch of her friends and they love me, why wouldn't she want to talk to me again? If I want to go talk to her while she's on the phone, and I'm a badass motherfucker, and I say, hey, it's sexy, I'm sorry, I know that you're on the phone, but I'm pretty fucking awesome. What's your name? Now because you have this energy, you're punching through the wall. You're not some scrub. You're something different, because what guy would do that? It makes you different. It's actually even it's a positive. It's a perceived positive. So now I'm drawn to the actions that you can't do. So this is how you want to write your field reports in terms of approach anxiety. Now, when it comes to consistency, you don't want to focus on maybe like going out for long bouts of time. You just want to show up to the action consistently. Now, there's actually a good book on this called Atomic Habits. It's one of the best books I ever read on willpower I've ever come across. Willpower is one of those most finicky things, and I've read so many different books on it because I used to be a lazy motherfucker. And for me, what really helped out was like the consistent action. So you might want to go out and you're kind of dragging your feet, man, I don't want to go out for 2 hours. Well, don't go out for 2 hours. Go out to approach one girl, or go out just to have the intent of going out and approaching. Maybe do it for 15 minutes, maybe do it for half an hour. As long as you show up, that's all that matters. So if you're only going out 2 days a week and going out and approaching 3 hours on those 2 days, but on the other side of things, your friend is going out and approaching 15, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe not an hour, 6 to 7 days a week, he's gonna have a lot more progress than you will, because he's keeping it consistent. It's all about consistency. Because the more consistent action you take, the more your brain, your narrative, and your ego, your self-identity is gonna start aligning with the action of approaching. And then it becomes tenfold easier, and you get drawn to the action. And that's what makes it different. Now, give me 1 sec. Now, like I said, we are built to be in a tribe, in a tribal structure. So surround yourself with people where it's effortless for them to approach, where it's not that big a deal. And also, watch content like this, because the more you watch this, the more I'm gonna be in your tribe. You think that mentally and subconsciously I'm in your tribe. So now guess what? It makes it easier for you to approach, right? Because you watch me, because I say it's easy, I say it's normal, I say you're supposed to do it, I say that you're weird if you don't do it. So now guess what? It gets into your brain subconsciously that you're allowed to approach. Because my mentality, my frame, is overpowering your frame that's weird to approach. My frame says it's weird if you don't, your frame says that it's weird if you do. So guess what happens? I overpower you. So you want to watch content like this all the time and surround yourself with people that have a mindset like I do. Whether that's through coaching, whether that's through making friends, whether that's through getting into maybe a local pickup group, it's something that you have to do because it's going to brainwash yourself to start believing it. Now, the cure. Now, I have a lot of different strategies to fix approach anxiety, and I will have one that is actually very effortless and something I've recently figured out by understanding the mechanisms of approach anxiety and understanding where it's coming from. But I'm gonna go down the line. So, consistent effort. As I said, baby step it, show up to the practice. That's all that matters. Show up. It doesn't matter how long, it's consistency that matters over all else. Now, write down field reports. Field reports are big. If you ever go out and you don't approach, what was it that propelled you from the action versus drawing you to the action? What's that? There's a bunch of cars driving by. What drew you to the action versus propelled you from the action? How can you think differently? That's how you write down your field reports. Now, next thing, change your tribe. Surround yourself with people where it's normal for them to approach. Get a pickup group. Next thing. Actually, this is the part that I think a lot of you guys showed up to the video for. It's the effortless action. So these are the things that if you take down, these are the things that you build habitually. They'll actually make it to where you are naturally more extroverted. So I call them the popular guy actions or the extroverted actions. So these are the actions that you take and you make habitual, you make a part of yourself, and now guess what? Now it's effortless to approach. So again, action feeds ego. So what are the actions of a guy that can approach a girl effortlessly? And if you take on these actions and you make them habitual, you'll have a lot easier time approaching in your everyday life. It'll actually become effortless, and you'll actually start eroding this long-term approach anxiety that you've had your entire life. So what are some of the extroverted actions? So one of them is eye contact with positive intent. Now, if you're eyeing people down or eyeing people with negative energy, you're just gonna start learning that it's a negative thing to give people eye contact. But instead, if you assume they're your friend and you give them eye contact, you go, hey, what's up, man? Hey, excuse me, can I get by you? Hey, I love the shirt, bro. Like, you put that energy out there, it becomes more, your brain's gonna backwards rationalize why you took those actions. You must be an extroverted, outgoing, popular guy. So then it's a lot easier for you to go and approach a girl. How about winking? You see a cute girl, you look at her, you wink at her. It's an extroverted action, it's cocky as fuck. And it's an action that your brain now has to justify you taking. If you're a guy who can wink at a girl confidently, you must be a pretty bad dude. You must be a bad motherfucker. So when you wink at somebody, and you do it with like confidence, now guess what? Now it's a lot easier for you to go and approach a girl down the line. Next extrovert action, you want to just generally just practice extroversion in public in general. So if I go maybe buy some groceries, I'll talk to the cashier. If I'm walking down the street, I'm maybe walking with some clients and it's a really busy street right now, and I'm trying to get by somebody, I'll say, excuse me, bro, I'm trying to get by you. And the guy will like let me by. I was like, throw positive energy his way, and he'll nod at me, and I'll pretend he's like my best friend. If I think somebody's shirt's cool, I'll say it to them. If I think a couple's cute, I'll say, hey, you guys make a cute couple. Or if I'll say, you know, if somebody's got a cute kid, I'll be like, that's just, your kid's so fucking adorable. It comes across, and now I'm taking extroverted actions that will backwards rationalize the person that I want to become, the person I want to be. I used to be a shy guy, but now because I do these things, now I'm an extroverted guy. Now I can talk to people. Now I can give people eye contact with good intent. Now I don't have a wall up between me and other people. Now when I want to go talk to a girl, I can do it effortlessly. Now, let me double check, make sure there's nothing else on this. Here it is, the final one. So this one's the biggest one for me. Wait for the cars to go by. Fuck you, cars. Fuck you, car. Okay. Now, the final one is when you sense people's judgment, you want to go against it. So let's say you're out in public, and let's say that you are wanting to take a shortcut, or let's say that you are maybe, I don't know, maybe your nose itches and you want to itch your nose, but then you tell yourself not to itch your nose because of some weird reason. Or maybe you want to look at somebody, but you're afraid to look at them because you're afraid of their reaction. Maybe they're doing something weird, and now you don't want to look at them because you're like, what's going on over here? But you're like, no, keep looking straight. What is happening is that you're not allowing yourself to take the action that you want to take. So the environment must be scary. So now you're back to rationalizing you're not an extroverted, outgoing alpha guy in this environment. What you need to do is take the action that you're afraid to take. So when you sense that in your brain, so you see a cute girl, and you want to approach her, but you're afraid what people will think, do it. Because the second you don't, your brain's going to rationalize the reasons for you not doing it. You're like, I want to go talk to her, I want to go do this, I want to go do that. Now you don't do it, you're going to actually push yourself in your head, you're going to become introverted. Because you must not be an alpha in this environment. So the second you sense judgment, self-judgment, or the fear of judgment of others, and you want to take an action, take the fucking action. Because if you don't take the action, you're going to build inaction. Now, for a lot of you guys who don't know, I'm also running some boot camps in Austin, Texas. I have a 3-man boot camp. I actually just posted up on my Instagram. If you guys don't know about my Instagram, denton.fisher, go check it out. I already filled 2 spots on this boot camp. I have 1 spot left. If you guys want to fill that spot in Austin, Texas, it's April 2nd through April 4th. So that's the 2nd through the 4th of April. That's in 1 month from now. If you guys do want to fill that spot on the bootcamp, and you guys want to come out with me and AG Hayden, you guys want to game a little bit, you guys want to see what I'm capable of, you guys want to learn how to improve yourselves and how to ultimately fix approach anxiety, hit me up, either DM me at denton.fisher, or you can email me at dentondating@gmail.com or denton@dentondating.com. I'll post it all in the links below so you guys can check it out. All right, with that being said, peace out.
Subscribe, motherfucker. Or we won't give you your sweet, sweet content you need to bang your sixes.
I live like a rebel, I'm resilient. I'm a star, not a general civilian. Got a white girl, but her ass a Brazilian. Not a rich chick, but her swag worth $1 billion. Got skills that'll shine through the nighttime, cause this ass spit it doper than a white line.